I read an article in Forbes magazine recently that stated that many CEOs view the risk of a data breach on par with that of a global recession. And I think that that's really telling. I think that that's, and I know that sounds negative to say it's positive, but it is positive because we need to start taking these things seriously.
It's so spot on. I mean, the brand reputational risk of a breach, the financial implications that you have,
right?
For a breach can take a lot of companies down, right? So I think it's really paramount to have this as a enterprise risk that should have full attention and focus and budget to help with that.
So what do you think is the biggest problem when we think about cybersecurity for health today? Well, like what is the? I mean, it's an impossible question, but what is the biggest challenge that they're really struggling with now? I mean, they're obviously incredibly stretched still, I imagine. But what are the big challenges that you see?
Yeah. So I think what's the biggest challenge to answer that question? First of all, it is such an uphill battle. It's I think a good day for a CISO is, if there's no a breach or some type of incident within your environment.
Yeah.
And I think with cybersecurity, it's a double-edged sword. And what I mean by that is, although we're making really great strides on the importance of cyber, and it's, as we just discussed, as becoming a top risk in the organization, and having focus and attention, all of that is great. And we've seen the evolution in the past several years, right? However, it's still a struggle. It's still an uphill battle. And the reason being is the allocation, and why I say it's a double-edged sword is, you have that uphill battle, and you have the complexities of cybersecurity challenges as it relates to technology advances, right? So you have digitization increasing that impacts all aspects of our lives across industry. We're seeing rapid adoption of machine learning and AI tools, and IOMT is one of the biggest trends that we see now, and the interdependencies between software, hardware, cloud infrastructure, all of that, right? You're seeing all these cyber attacks with ransomware to our critical infrastructure. So really complex cybersecurity challenge. And then an uphill battle to combat that. You need resources to really mitigate some of those risks. And we have a shortage of cyber talent. So that is the other aspect of the double-edged sword. So you need, and there's just a lack of cybersecurity expertise. I really think those two things coupled together are the biggest challenge that we have in cybersecurity as an industry, and specifically within healthcare.
And I guess the difficulty is obviously, like, there's an agility problem, is like the agility of a hacker, the agility of somebody that wants to do this is like that. The agility of a large organization, dare I say, a healthcare organization, is a lot slower. So as soon as you thought you figured out how you're going to protect yourself against it, it shifted, and the whole thing's and it must be incredibly difficult to kind of keep up with that as well. Because you're trying to make organizational change, and you're up against people that can, the drop of a hat.
Yeah, sophistication is just tremendous, right? Ransomware in itself, right? It's a business, and it's a lucrative business at that.
Very lucrative, right? Yeah, indeed.
So ransomware will, as a short-term type of challenge, that will continue on. We saw, in 2020 that ransomware, that healthcare specifically would suffer 2 or 3 more times cyber attacks in 2020, and that happened, and that it would quadruple by the end of 2021, and you see that happening. So it's the fastest growing cybercrime, and talk about agility. The fact that that the anonymity of these cyber criminals, because it's a business, the use of Bitcoin for payments, it keeps the cyber criminals anonymous. And then there's these new type of double ransoms now that, that has been a trend for these cyber criminals, and these double extortion ransomware exfiltration. I mean, this is real stuff. And
Right, yeah.
It's definitely an issue that will have both short term and long term.
And am I right in saying that when you experience a ransomware attack in healthcare, it's classified as a compliance failure as well?
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that's quite unique about HIPAA as well, is that I believe, is that correct?
It is. And it's also around if there is a lack of incident response,
Yeah.
preparation and plan, that's part of the puzzle as well. You actually get hefty fines for that, with various regulations, not just HIPAA.